Yeah. Oh, yeah, Arwin.
All right, we are back with another predictions video. This time for UFC 253, the first fight back on Fight Ireland. I'm joined by Arwin De Jesus. I think I pronounced that right.
Yes,
And
sir. Thank you.
yeah, we're gonna go through the whole card. So starting from the bottom, Kadis Ibragimov, I think that's how you pronounce that, versus Danilo Marquez, who for me was a surprising signing. Yeah, what's your prediction for that one?
So Danilo is this is his debut, right?
Yeah.
So Ibragimov, I think he just came off a loss, correct?
Yeah, he's on a 3-fight losing streak.
3-fight losing streak. Okay. Yeah, so I guess with Danilo, I think I got to go with him just because it's his debut and he has something to prove right now. He finished 8 of his 9 fights and his last fight was a decision. So I think right now, yeah, he's probably going to be on a good roll and a good standing. So I got to go with Danilo on this one.
Yeah, I was really back and forth on this one. I really like Danilo. He's looked good in his last fights. Kadis is on a little bit of a slide. However, I think the level of competition is huge there. He's on a 3-fight losing streak with UFC level guys. Danilo has a weird one. His record's 9-2, which sounds very good, but when you dig into it, he hasn't beaten anybody with a winning record. So it's very interesting, and that's why I'm leaning towards Kadis, but I am not sold on this one because he's on a slide, and like you said, I mean, Danilo coming in. I mean, you're seeing it, especially now throughout the pandemic. Guys who are making debuts, even on short notice, teams tend to pick up the win. They have more to prove. So I'm on the fence on this one, but I'm gonna go with with Kadis.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then Juan Espino, who's had a little bit of he's taken some time off. He won the last edition of the Ultimate Fighter, one of 2 Spanish fighters, and he's facing Jeff Hughes. So what do you have for that?
Man, yeah, Hughes had a rough run, but yeah, he had that no contest with Todd Duffy, and then he lost unanimously against Rafael Pasal. So Juan's 2-year layoff, though, I don't know. That's kind of sus to me, but I got to go with Juan. I don't know. I liked him on the Ultimate Fighter. His last fight, he won by arm lock. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go with Juan on that one.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, he's that time off's been rough, especially at his age. I think he's 42 or 43 now. But obviously, being Spanish and Canadian, anytime I see a Spaniard or a Canadian on the card, I'm always gonna root for them. Especially if it's like one where you can kind of give it to them. So I think he's got much better grappling. He has a win over Maurice Green, who's fighting Greg Hardy. So even though he's taken some time off, I think he's got the skills to do it. Hopefully, we aren't going to see too much ring rust in there because if not, it could be a rough night for him. But I just think he's too talented and too skilled. But I think Espino as well.
Nice.
And then William Knight, who's looked very impressive on the Contender Series. He's coming up and fighting Aleksa Camur. What do you have for that one?
Honestly, all these Contender Series guys, they're so good, man. Aleksa Camur, undefeated, 5 TKOs, KOs, whatever it is, but I like William Knight a lot, dude. Like, I really liked him in his last fight. So, yeah, I gotta go with William on that one.
Yeah, I went the same way. I mean, Camur, like you said, is undefeated. His last fight didn't impress me too much. He fought Justin Ledette to a decision. I didn't think it was overly impressive. William Knight's been an absolute killer. Yeah, he has that loss to Tafon, but Tafon's a monster. So I have William Knight too, but I don't see this one going to decision. I think when one of them goes to sleep, and I didn't think.
Oh no, yeah.
Done. And then we're going to start with the first City Kickboxing prospect here with Shane Young. They have City Kickboxing has 4 fighters on the card: Shane Young, Brad Riddell, Kai Kara France, and obviously Izzy. So this is the first one. He's starting off. He's fighting Ludovic Klein, first Slovakian ever in the UFC. Steps up in short notice. What do you have for this one?
Oof. Yeah, I have no idea who Klein is, but I was just looking at his record. But like, that's like a shitload of KOs, man. Like, I do like Young a lot. Like watching his striking, I was watching one of his highlights too, and then he was just like picking apart the guy, and then just ends up knocking him out. But this guy's like short notice though, but he has a really good record. I mean, I don't know the level of competition, obviously, but Shane Young has already been in there, so oof, I gotta go with Shane Young. I just like those city kickboxing guys, man.
Yeah.
Like they're really good.
Yeah, anytime I see someone from Elevation or City Kickboxing, it's kind of hard to write the other guy's name down. And I think that it's just like these guys are good. Like I don't, when Neil Magny fought, I was like, yeah, he's training at Elevation, he wins. Like it's just if they're fighting out of one of those two camps, I automatically assume they're winning. Shane Young's very good. I mean, his only losses were to Wang Guan way back when, really early on, and Alexander Volkanovski by decision. So just shows you how good he really is. I wasn't really thinking too much of this. I was high on Ludovic Klein for a long time. I know he fights over in Europe, but he had a huge win over Lucas Sadusky last time. So I was leaning that way, and I kind of feel like I can't switch now, even though I want to. I think Shane Young will win because I originally had Klein. I have to stick with it. So I'm going to go with Ludovic Klein, but man, I wouldn't be surprised if Shane Young picked him apart. And then one of my favorite fighters of all time, Diego Sanchez. Very exciting, very very exciting. He looks like he's having a blast. He's fighting Jake Matthews, who's no slouch. So, what do you have for this one?
Oh yeah, I don't know, man. Like I love Diego. Like he's a vet. He's been around for like however long. That guy's funny, dude. Like I was on Twitter and just like going through his tweets and everything, but seeing him fight like all the younger guys, like his this win over Mickey Gall was really good. And Jake Matthews is on a 2-fight winning streak, right? And then so he's been winning by decision. He's been submitted before. Diego has a good ground game too. I really don't know. Diego's so unpredictable now, like even more so than usual.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he's gonna employ more of his like grappling again. Because like, oh man, like when he fought Gall, that was a really good fight too. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Diego on this one.
Yeah,
for nostalgia's sake.
he's hit or miss. Like their fight, like the Mickey Gall fight was a great example. Like he looked unbelievable, and then against Michel Pereira won, but disqualification.
Oh, dude. Oh, and Chiesa too, man. Chiesa fucking worked him, bro. Shit.
Yeah. So I think Matthews, even though he was a lightweight, just like Diego was, Matthews has put on some size. He is huge. Doesn't look like the same guy. I think the size difference is going to be key because I think, like you said, Diego Sanchez's grappling, I think, might be the key to this. But I think if you're wrestling a guy, Jake Matthews, he's going to have a hard time.
He's young too, yeah.
Yeah, he's young. He trains with what's his name, Daniel Kelly, who's a judo, like 3-time judo Olympian, like a 12-time judo Australian champion. So I think grappling isn't going to be an issue for Matthews. So I'm probably leaning towards Matthews. But who knows what Diego's going to show up, man? Like he's got Stephan Bonner.
Yeah, seriously.
So who knows? But I have Jake Matthews.
Yeah, it'd be really good. That's good. Yeah, that's a good pick.
And then Brad Riddell, Alex Silva, the second one of these city kickboxing guys.
Oh man, this guy is young. I looked him up today, and I was like 21-2, and he's only 24. So I was just like, oh wow, and he has like a lot of finishes, like 20 finishes. But I like Brad Riddell a lot. Like, just again, city kickboxing. So, oh man, honestly, I feel like this might be a sleeper. Honestly, like this might be fight of the night. But I'll go with Brad. Like I like Brad a lot. Who'd you pick?
I went Brad as well. I mean, he really surprised me in the Magomed Mustafayev fight. He won via split decision, but I thought he looked very, very good. That being said, man, I'm a huge fan of Alex Silva as well. But it's weird how the word city kickboxing is the reason why I'm gonna pick Brad Riddell. It's like when you think like the guy's training with Izzy, Dan Hooker, like these names, like
Yeah,
there's not a
top
whole
strikers.
lot. Yeah, there's not a whole lot Alex Silva can provide that he hasn't seen before, and I think
Mhm.
when you're training with those guys, your confidence is going to be through the roof. There's nothing that Alex Silva is going to throw at him that Dan Hooker hasn't. So I think that's going to be the key here is the guys he's been training with. The fact that there's four of them on this card, they're all prepping together. They're mentally
Mhm.
got to be on another level right now. So I Brad Riddell.
Mhm. That's a good pick.
And then I think this is where the main card starts here. It's Hakeem Dawodu, the only Canadian on the card, versus Zubaira Tukhugov. Who do you have for this one?
Dude, honestly, I was really split on this one because I do like Dawodu. Like he has such a chip on his shoulder, man. I mean, his nickname's mean.
Yeah.
like, but I like Zabara, sorry, just because he's wrestling. I don't know if he's still training at a Tiger Muay Thai, but he's been really good too lately. Like, I really think what sets them apart is probably his wrestling. Like, it'd probably go down to that. But we'll see if he can stuff the takedown because I know like he has some credentials as well. So yeah, but I'll go with just play devil's advocate like Zabara. So
Yeah, I'm on the. This was one of the ones I circled two or three fights that I was on the fence about. And this was one of them. Hakeem Dawodu does not. It's funny when you think of Canadians, you think of how nice they are, and him and Tanner Bozer are like 1 and 2 right now, best Canadians, and they're both mean. Like they're just not. They don't smile. They're not fun to talk to.
hmm
But man, he's aggressive. He's mean. He's ruthless. He wants a top 15 fighter.
hmm
That being said, man, he squeaked by Julio Arce, and I mean, I think Arce is a great fighter, but I just don't know if he's ready. And Tukhugov's looked very, very impressive. He drew to Lerone Murphy, and we all know how great Lerone Murphy's become. And like you said, I think his wrestling's just on another level. I think overall he's just a better fighter, and I think that's gonna. I don't think either one of them is gonna be finished. I just think
hmm
Tukhugov's gonna win a comfortable like 2-1, 2 rounds to 1 decision.
Yeah.
But I have Tukhugov.
Nice.
And then Sijara Eubanks steps up on short notice and faces someone who a lot of people thought at one point was going to be the girl to beat Amanda, and Ketlen Vieira before she got knocked out. Uh,
hmm
what's your thoughts on A, her stepping up on short notice to fight a killer in Vieira, and B, who do you think is going to win that?
Eubanks looked pretty good in her last fight. Like she was banging with the other girl, Aldana. Oh, sorry, not Aldana, but Vieira when she fought Aldana. Like I honestly thought like, oh, okay, she's actually like getting her, and then she got KO'd. I was just like she was hitting her with some good shit. So I was just like, oh man, like. But honestly, I think oh man, Eubanks is like more fight ready just because she has fought recently. But that was a good fight too. So I don't think that was like a easy fight that she had. But I think again I'll pick Vieira just because obviously she doesn't want to. She just got off her first loss, so she definitely wants to get that back. And Eubanks is up there already in the rankings too, so why not? You know.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I mean, Eubanks, I think, might be rushing this one a little bit. I mean, she just had a big win. Congrats, but you're
hmm
stepping into your league here. I think Vieira is elite, top five in my opinion in bantamweight division, if
Well.
not even higher. I mean, Aldana caught her, but I think most of the times those two fight, Vieira wins it, and her jiu-jitsu is next level. So I think she's going to be able to comfortably beat Eubanks, and I think she's going to beat her via decision. That being said, Eubanks has surprised me so many times before. She was on the cusp of getting a title shot back at flyweight, so
hmm
she could do it, but I just think Vieira is just next level. And that leads us into the last non-title fight in Kara, France, the third of the city kickboxing guys, squaring off against Brandon Royval, who had crazy debut, uh, winning 50 Gs and then quitting his job. So, what's your thoughts on this fight?
Um, I've been watching Kai Kara France when he started in Tough, and I really liked him a lot. Since then, like I was like, I know he didn't win the season, then he came back into the UFC. Was watching his fight with Moreno, and then I was just like, oh man, he's getting pieced the hell up. And then he beat Tyson Nam, who I really like too. So I was kind of annoyed by that. But no, I really like him in this fight, just because. But Royval has a lot of submissions too. So it's just one of those fights. Like it really depends on who's going to implement their game plan, right? So I'm not really familiar with Royval's gas tank. Kai, he got pieced up a lot by Moreno, and he was kind of getting work and getting a little tired near the later rounds. So, yeah, but I still like Kai no matter what. So, yeah, I go with Kai on this one.
Yeah, I have Kai for the same reason. I just think he's been in the UFC. He's fought high-level guys. I mean, Brandon Moreno is knocking on the doorstep of a title shot. I mean, I know there's only like 12 guys in that division, but Moreno is legit, and I don't think that fight necessarily is a shame, I guess, to lose to a guy like Moreno. Royval looked incredible in his debut, but I just think Carrick France right now is just a little bit higher. He's fought higher level competition. I just think he's on another level. That being said, I mean, I wasn't expecting Royval to win either in his debut, and he did. So it's a real test for him. If he gets by Carrick France, he could be fighting Askar Askarov or one of these guys for a title shot. Like he's right there. And for Carrick France, if you pick up this win, you're knocking on the doorstep as well. So I think this is a huge fight for the flyweight division.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
it's
definitely.
massive. And then, man, here it is. Dominick Reyes, Jan Blachowicz for the vacant light heavyweight title. First time in like how long? 10 years that someone not named John Jones or Daniel Cormier is fighting for it.
Yeah, it's new.
Yeah.
It's not ready.
What's your prediction for this?
I'm actually really impressed with Reyes. Like I thought he was kind of a cornball with like his whole athlete thing for a little bit, but seeing him like really mature past the whole John Jones thing, like saying like, oh, you know what, thanks, you're with the champ, and hopefully we'll get to do it again, but I'm gonna focus on getting the title that I really wanted, and he looked really good in his last fight. Like I honestly was like, I could have saw how Jones won, but everyone in the house I was watching it with was like, okay, Reyes gets it. Like, that's it. It's done. But with John, like, Blachowicz, sorry. But he looked really good, knocking out Corey Anderson, who I thought was going to beat him, but he just slept him, bro. Like, he has that touch of death, too, man. And, like, people sleep on him. Like he's like, oh, just, like, Polish guy, nice, very humble. And Dominick's really good too, but he's also just trying to prove something too. I feel like he's like really like focused in. Like he's not thinking about Jones anymore. He's not thinking about anything else except this fight. So I gotta go with Reyes on this one.
Yeah, I have Reyes too, but at first I was like, Reyes, easy. I mean, he just fought John to a split. It's obviously Reyes. Then I did some more digging, and I'm like, you know what? Sure, he knocked out Chris Weidman, but is that really impressive anymore? Like, and then he arguably lost to Volkan Oezdemir. Like, so it's for me, it was hard because the John Jones fight is what's making me lean to Reyes. But at the same time,
much, yeah.
It's like when you look beyond that, I think Jan has a better resume. I think he's done more impressive things. He's knocked out Corey Anderson. He's looked great in his last few fights. So it's hard. It's really a toss up. I think a lot of people are overlooking what Jan's been able to do, and really focusing on that John Jones fight for Reyes. That being said, I have Reyes. I just think
that's going to be a hard fight.
All that being said, I think if anybody can get John Jones, can almost beat John Jones, I think it's kind of hard to say they're going to lose their next fight. But I also don't think Jones showed up that night. Like he didn't seem himself, and he hasn't looked himself really in a little while, since probably the Gustafsson fight.
He looks bored, right?
Yeah.
Like, just kind of like fed up with it.
Yeah, it's like he knew he was losing, and he just didn't step on the gas tank. Like even when he almost lost to Gus that first time, the fifth round, he came out like he needed to win. He didn't look like that against Reyes.
Yeah, he just did just enough, I was like
Yeah,
that takedown, near the end. I was like, oh,
yeah. So it was impressive. I mean, you took arguably the greatest of all time to a split decision, but I also don't think that was the John Jones that was
hmm
beating guys like Rampage Jackson, Rashad Evans,
yeah,
DC,
Lyoto.
Leo. Like, I don't think that was the same John Jones. So, yeah, I'm a bit on the fence, but I do have Dom written down, so I'm going to stick with Dom. And then the fight Dana White's calling fight of the year, Israel Adesanya and Paulo Costa. What uh, what do you have for this one?
What team is he from? What team is he from? Say it again. City Kickbox. You gotta go with it, man. You gotta go with Izzy. I gotta go with Izzy. Like honestly, like I've been watching film on Paulo. I've been watching his fights again and watching like Adesanya's fights too. Just seeing, I noticed that Costa likes to he does that forward pressure a lot, you know. And I was watching Dan Hardy's take on the whole fight. Like he hasn't knocked anyone out cold. Like he's been like TKOing guys, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying he can't sleep anybody because he hit freaking Yoel with like this like beautiful left hook, like just dropped him clean. And I think the difference between them though is like Izzy's not the type to go forward as much. Like he'll wait and bide his time, right? So, but he goes angles. Like he's always off the center line. He's not staying in one place. So, like I think like that's the only reason why I think Izzy's gonna win, just because. I don't know if Paulo's doing more with his training. He looked like he was incorporating a lot more boxing, like and head movement and stuff like that. But if he just goes forward, he might get clipped a couple times, and then he might have to reassess, his game plan. Like I don't think you can just bull rush him, especially a guy as good as a counter striker as like Adesanya. So, yeah.
Yeah, I watched two about 10-second clips from each fighter. The first one was Uriah Faber. Can you imagine? Uriah Hall and Paulo Costa, and
Yeah.
all hit him with about like 12 or 13 jabs unanswered. And obviously, we saw what happened. Hall got caught and demolished and pretty much decapitated. But his head movement isn't as good as Izzy's. You could arguably say his hands aren't as good as Izzy. I mean, he's got power in them, but I mean, he hasn't KO'd a guy like Robert Whitaker. I mean, Izzy's going to do a great job of keeping him at range. If a guy like Hall can do it, who's way shorter, who's got a much shorter reach, I think Izzy does it no problem. And then the other clip I watched was the one of Costa catching Yoel clean. And it's hard because I think if he catches him, there's a good chance that he could finish him. But I don't like the only person who I've ever just kind of said, yeah, he's got knockout power, he's winning, is Francis. And he's just an anomaly. Like no one's
exactly. He's a freak.
Yeah. So I think if you have one tool, it's really hard to say that you're going to win it. I think Izzy's got more tools. I don't see this fight going to the ground. If if Costa were to take it down, I could see him winning it, but I don't think he will. I think he hasn't done it in the past. He's great on the ground, but he likes to keep things standing. So I think it'll stay standing, and I think it's going to favor Izzy. I think he's going to keep it at range. He's going to piece him up. I don't think he finishes Costa because, I mean, it's like punching a wall. You're not gonna put that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think he wins it, comfortable decision.
Oh yeah, like I think it's just weird because on MMA Twitter they like to compare like, oh well, Izzy got caught by Gastelum, but then it's like you can't really compare both because Costa's kind of the same size as Izzy, right? And it's like Gastelum's a little bit shorter, and I'm sure the game plan was more focused around his boxing and his wrestling. So it's like he didn't expect the head kick. Like, of course you're gonna get caught, Yeah. But then you have a guy like Costa versus Izzy. Like Izzy has been fighting guys like around his same height when he was back in Glory, right? And he's been like winning, comfortably a lot. Like that's why it's just like weird when people say like, oh, he's gonna get slept by Costa. Like, I don't think so, man. Like I don't think people are really giving him credit, like his chin some credit. Like he got hit with a good overhand by Yoel, and like it was like right in his eye. So yeah, I gotta go with Izzy. Read it again.
And I mean at the same time, Yoel did hurt Costa too. A lot of people are acting like Costa's never been hit and Costa's never been rocked. I mean, he has some loss. Like he's 13-0, but he has some
Mm.
losses in exhibition matches on the Ultimate Fighter. Like
Yeah.
the guy does have losses. It's not like he's never lost. And yeah, Izzy does too in kickboxing. He's been knocked out too, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just different, man. It's funny because I've asked a bunch of fighters who they thought were winning, and it was a clean sweep. They all said Izzy, which I thought it was going to be a lot closer. I mean, analyzing it, it's kind of hard to not say Izzy because the only fight where it's really been close was the Gastelum fight, and I think it was just
Mm-hmm.
the way he fought. I don't think he's going to fight that way.
No.
I don't see him fighting that way against a guy like Costa. I
Mm.
think he knew Gastelum probably wasn't going to be able to put him out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's going to fight the same way. He's not going to go into a war with Costa. I think
Yeah.
if people are expecting an exciting fight, I think they're wrong. I think it's going to be technical.
Yeah.
For
Very
Izzy.
systematic. Mm-hmm. Oh man, it's gonna be some good fights though.
Yeah,
Super
man,
good.
and we've got 5 weeks of this. This is going to be great. 5 weeks of Fight Island. I love it, man. I can't wait for it.
Oh yeah.
And UFC 254 is also on Fight Island with Khabib and Gaethje.
Gaethje.
And Chandler possibly stepping in. So it's going to be fun, man. I feel like we've missed out on so much with the pandemic, and
Mm-hmm.
you have making up for it. It's like throwing us these crazy cards.
Oh yeah. We're lucky.
Yeah. Are you more excited for 253 or 249? The Gaethje Ferguson card.
I really liked. Honestly, yeah, no, I really like the Ferguson Gaethje card. Like, I really, really wanted to see Ferguson win, but then Gaethje, like, like in between rounds, when you hear Trevor Whitman said, "You just gotta calm down," like, and he's just like, "Okay," and I was like, "Oh, he's fucked. Ferguson's fucked." Like, I was like, "Oh, damn, he's gonna lose," and then I just knew that fight was cursed. Like, I really don't think it's gonna happen now. I don't think Ferguson Habib's gonna happen, but honestly, like, yeah, like all these cards have been so good, dude. Like, that made me really hype. This card, for some reason, like, it's been kind of like this week has been kind of like limited on like the media. Like, it's not as hyped as like this past fight card, right? With Colby and Woodley.
Yeah, I found there was so much hype going into that one, and this one had like nothing. Like,
There's like burnt out, right?
yeah, like they're just like whatever. I don't even care anymore. Let's just get over to Fight Island.
Yeah, you're gonna buy it, whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna buy it. How is it like with the time there? Because I mean, it's probably like what that it's
Like
with the
7.
fights.
Oh, with the fights? Oh,
Would
so
they be on like in the morning or?
yeah, because they've been having fights at like 4 a.m. over there, right? Like 4, 6. So I usually watch it at the same time as I do like a regular fight. So usually it would start at like 12, but I think it's been like a little bit earlier. So like 12 p.m. to like 6 or something. Like, it hasn't been too bad. But
It's like 8 p.m. to like 3 here, 3 a.m.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
it's
crazy.
insane how it's like spread out throughout the entire world. But I don't know. I like the Fight Island ones because I think the time's going to be a little bit easier. It's going to be from like, I don't know. Usually when they do events over there, they're more favorable, and it's like from 6 to 12. So I'm not like burnt out the next day.
Oh yeah, dude. These past fight cards have just been like super exhausting. Like I've been enjoying it. They had that Bellator fight the same day as that UFC fight card.
Yeah.
And like I was trying to like watch both at the same time, and I was like, I can't do this. Like, I'm already tired. Oh, it was the Hill versus Watterson.
Yeah.
And like after that fight, I was like, I can't even watch anything else after that. I was just so disappointed. I was just like, I can't even look.
It
Oh,
sucks.
man.
'Cause I skipped that card. Like I watch every card. But it was my buddy's birthday, and I'm like, all right, if I'm gonna miss a card, let it be this one.
That's
And
fine.
it turns
Yeah.
and it turned out the card was crazy. Like I was like, are you serious? I missed all these crazy fights. But it is what it is.
It's fine, man. No, you're a good friend, dude. But yeah, that Hill Watson fight killed me. I was just like, oh shit. Like, I feel bad for her, but I don't know. I feel like all these fighters like going into like these like pandemic fights, and it's like, yeah, they're fighting a lot more because they want the money and whatnot. But like now it's kind of like, because the UFC is like now like everyone's focused, right? Just
Yeah.
because like not a lot of sports going on, especially with all the other stuff going on too. It's just like just watching the fights in general. Like now all their focus is on like this. Like I see more MMA fans now than I did like, like last year. Like honestly, So, oh man, I don't know. Yeah, they did a really good. Like they've been really good with the matchmaking lately too.
Yeah, I think the UFC handled the getting back. I mean, at one point for like a month, they were the only sport on TV. Like I think it was brilliant what they did, the way they did it. I mean, you think about PFL. I mean, Ray Cooper hasn't fought in like a year. I mean, like he's the face PFL, and you can't
Yeah.
have him and Rory McDonald like sitting on the
Uh-huh.
side. And so I think right now the UFC is separating themselves from all these other MMA events, and on top of that, just other sports. I mean, boxing's been dead.
Mm-hmm.
The UFC's done it extremely well given everything, and even with all the fighters that have tested positive, the
Mm-hmm.
UFC's managed to do some incredible things. So
Yeah.
I think it's insane that they have these events. Like even when you think about it, they have people flying in from all over the world, and only like I think 8% of the fights that have fallen through have been due to COVID. Like I think it's crazy and
Yeah.
super impressive. So hopefully they
Yeah.
keep this up, and hopefully they don't have many mishaps over there in Fight Island, because they're not going to have much talent to call upon.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
It's gonna be
man. Well,
good.
yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, man.
Yeah, bro.
Glad we were able to work out a time, because the time difference is crazy. So
Yeah. Thank you again.
yeah, I appreciate it. We'll have to do this again sometime, and man, I can't wait to watch these fights.
Yeah, man. All right, brother. Thank you so much.
All right, man. Stay safe.
You too, bro.